We've been exploring different board game mechanics, board game design. What do you think about player elimination? I think as board games evolve, I don't really like the idea of player elimination. But I do realize that certain games, certain titles, certain narratives, that has to be the focus. If we're playing Game of Thrones, if we're playing winner takes all, other players are going to be eliminated. If we're playing kind of simulation type games where different factions are going against each other, elimination is kind of the aim of the game. But you go into that with that understanding. I mean, it's kind of like wargaming. We're playing where I'm going to try and eliminate you, whether that's one-to-one or one-to-many. But there are other games out there where you're controlling a character or controlling a faction where if you're eliminated, you're taken out of the game continues or potentially continues. I'm not a big fan of those. And I like some of the more creative ways to deal with elimination that are evolving. And that's what we're going to kind of explore in this vlog. So there's this idea, we're sitting down to play a board game. We're taking real time out of other responsibilities, annoying things like school and work, to roll some dice, push some miniatures, and flip some cards. We're sitting down with a group of friends. We're trying to create that memory. We're trying to create that experience together. And I want all of the players to be involved in the game. That's why I love big player games, or I'll bump up a game beyond the players, right? Two examples. Talisman wants to run at 4 to 6 players. We do 10 or 15. Zombicide Black Plague, Zombicide Invader wants to do 6. That's where it's set up with the balance and everything. We're doing 10, we're doing 11, we're doing 12 with the X packs and the Kickstarter characters. Everyone has a place at the table. The challenge with elimination is, let's say we're going to play a game for 3 hours. We're an hour in, you get killed, you get eliminated. Now, like, what do you do? Where do you go? You just hang out or you jump in on another game? I don't really like that. Plus, we're missing out on the creativity that you can bring to the table. So 2 ways that I've seen to eliminate player elimination. I'm trying to string that together. 2 examples in games that handle it, I think, very, very well. Everyone wins or loses. We see this with Zombicide Invader, Zombicide Black Plague. You've got a group of players playing together. If one of them gets killed, the game gets reset. All the players lose the game. And I like this because it allows some cooperation. If someone gets injured, if someone gets hurt, now the rest of the group has to kind of protect them, to work with them. But ultimately, we can be 2 hours into the game, and if someone gets killed, if they get eliminated, everyone resets. So we win or lose based on that. Another example, now this is a wargaming example, but I focus on that and I mention it because it shows excellent board game design. And I'm excited to see more games doing this. God Tier. Now this is a skirmish-based game. You have these heroes, you have these champions that are literally drinking the crystallized tears of the gods to become super powerful. You've got your various war bands, and you fight. You go head to head. As you lose followers, and if your champion gets killed, you're not eliminated from the game, which goes against completely against skirmish-based games. If I lose followers, one of the actions that I can do is recruit and bring some followers back. If my champion gets knocked out, well, they don't say killed. If I lose all my life, I get knocked out. I have to spend turn resources because you have actions, a number of actions every turn. I have to spend the resources to bring my champion back. There are penalties for getting killed. There are penalties for getting knocked out. In God Tier, it's resources. I only have a set number of actions I can do every turn to bring one of my champions back. That's all they can do. But likewise, there's other powers and abilities that they can't do if they bring back followers. I can bring back some followers, but then I can't activate this. So it's an economy of we are going to penalize you for the loss, but you're not knocked out of the game. We see that also with Zombicide, right? We all win, we all lose. I like those mechanics. I'd like to see board gaming design evolve, and I do see it going that way. And admittedly, this is just me throwing something out there. The complexities of doing this and the complexity of board game design, absolutely. But if there was a game where I'm playing my character and I don't get eliminated, but there's a penalty for it, I'm not going to say dump all my gear, but maybe from the perspective of you have 3 tiers of abilities. So maybe at the start of the game, I have 10 life. If I get knocked out, it's like a mortal wound. Then I come back, but I only have 8 life, then maybe 6 life. And eventually it gets down to maybe 3 life, and that's as low as I can go. I don't know what the example would be with that, but thinking along those lines of board game design where you don't get eliminated, you don't get completely knocked out, there is some consequences and loss of resources, but you're still engaged in the game with the focus keeping together as a group, sitting down and playing. You're in the game. It's not like we're an hour in, you got eliminated, and now, okay, the game continues, and I'm like hanging out. What am I going to do? So from that perspective, I'm intrigued with how things are developing. Your thoughts on elimination-based games? Yes, no, a lot of titles in your collection, or an understanding that, look, certain games absolutely work this way, but elimination tactics in other games, we might be able to find other ways to address a loss or address the narrative without removing the player from the game.